Welcome to Own Your Own Stuff, the way back to connecting with partners, coworkers, family, and community. Featuring your host, Jane Donovan.
When I first talked years ago on radio about self-love, the host shared it was a bit narcissistic. We've come a long way from those days. However, most of us are still working on improving our self-love. So today, yes, we're talking all things self-love. Self-acceptance, self-respect, self-confidence, and self-worth are all areas to be worked on, which all leads and adds up to self-love. And it raises the love frequency to fill our own bucket full. This then allows us to have the connections we desire in life and places us in the perfect alignment to be able to be devoted to service to others. So this is an important part of owning your own stuff. What are the tools? How can we get there? What if we've never known what self-love is? What if we struggle with it? How can we teach our children what it is, what it looks like, what it feels like? It can be simplified to say you've got to have your own back. You've got to be the kindest person to yourself. You've got to fall madly, passionately, deeply in love with yourself. And you need to be your own biggest cheerleader. We're all at different places in the journey to self-love. Right at one end of the spectrum, you've got people who feel self-hatred, people who are hurting their bodies through self-harm, through abusive thoughts, bullying themselves, living in ways that harm the body. They're addicted to very abusive relationships. These are just a few ways low self-worth starts to show up in life. Middle of the spectrum are people with a little bit of that, but they're still high functioning. They can look in the mirror and feel positive about themselves. And top of the spectrum is somebody who doesn't even need to look in the mirror at all because, well, they just don't need to. It's all about how they feel when they wake up in the morning and how happy they are with their heart and their emotions. I think when we can finally reach that place on the spectrum, one where we have no attachment to so much of the external world, such as what people say, what the media is showing us, fake and misleading images, and how we measure ourselves against others, then we have really achieved great self-love. However, we don't have to get to this stage to be feeling so much better about ourselves. The best part of this is that each day that we commit to spending time on self-love is a day that we feel better. And that, I am sure, is something we all enjoy experiencing. Let's start with the how did this happen? We are born perfectly happy, content, curious, connective, and flowing freely on the love frequency. And then the programming starts, be it from our parents, teachers, friends, or outside influences, all who too have also been subjected to the system's programming. Then we move into the system of education to get a job and become a good worker, climb the social ladder, earn more, get a promotion, gather more material possessions, better cars, homes, holidays, clothes, all while telling you that what you're currently experiencing just isn't enough. That you're not good enough and you need to fix this. Fix your appearance, the car you drive, the location you live in, the people you associate with, the type of work you do, etc., etc., etc. We have non-stop people of media telling you where you've got it all wrong and, of course, hand over that credit card so they can help fix you. Well, you're not broken, you don't need fixing, and you are perfect exactly as you are. In fact, if you can really feel this statement as your truth, well then turn this recording off now, as you don't need to hear any more from me. And a big round of applause to you for achieving great self-love. However, because of a lifetime of bombardment of negative programming, most people are always looking for ways to improve their self-love. And we have to look at how to undo some of the rubbish that we've been told about ourselves and start to reconnect with ourselves to be our natural version, hanging out in the love frequency vibration. So now let's look at a few different ways you can start to increase your level of self-love. I'm going to start with the physical appearance. And while this may be perceived by some as a shallow area to start in, the programming that we've endured here is huge. So I'm tackling it anyway, as I know that when we feel physically happy, this gives us greater confidence to step bolder into the world and, of course, to be of service to others. We've been so heavily programmed from very young to feel dissatisfaction with our bodies. Advertisers deliberately plant seeds of doubt that you aren't thin enough, pretty enough, radiant enough, etc. And as we compare ourselves to the overly photoshopped fake images projected to us, we get to look at this diet plan, buy this makeup, take this pill, get this outfit. And so we start with the disappointment of our own imperfections and what we see in the mirror, which for everyone is usually a long, long way from the glossy magazine covers. So many people struggle to look in the mirror, eyes to eyes, and say, "I love you. I really, really love you." Instead, they'll see wrinkles or uneven skin tone or lopsided features. To overcome this, start with gratitude for your body. Pick one part if you find it easier. And using me again as an example, I'm going to start with my size F breasts. And I'm hoping you're laughing now. And I guess lucky this is audio only, hey? Okay, so I went up 3 cup sizes when I had my beautiful children. And well, the perfect breasts I had are a very long, distant memory. Instead of wishing though for something I'm not, I choose gratitude. Gratitude that my breasts served me so well feeding my babies. I was like a high vibrational machine producing effortlessly on demand for my girls. And what a gift from the heavens this was for both the girls and for me. So now I give love and gratitude to my amazing body for providing this abundance. Perhaps you have eyes the establishment wants you to believe aren't big enough. However, perhaps you have amazing vision, and maybe you can be one of the ones that effortlessly reads the small print on a product label. Or perhaps you have a larger body than the establishment believes to be considered beautiful or handsome. Is that body strong, capable, allows you to run around energetically, have resilience to the hidden poisons in our food supply, or give the best huge bear hugs to those in need? Gratitude will start to help you move to self-acceptance of who you are, and in time, move you up the vibrational ladder to really feeling love for yourself. Another own your own stuff moment is to be recognized that you likely don't see yourself as others do. We can be so hard on ourselves. How often do you get genuine compliments that likely you shrug off, perhaps with the assumption that they're just being nice? Well, let's look at grabbing some new evidence around your physical appearance. Grab some old photos and I bet you find that you were much more attractive than you felt at the time. Now, if only you realized that at the time, instead of having doubts about your appearance and feeling insecure or less than. So this can be stopped now and accepted that you have been programmed. It's time to now ignore those old beliefs and bring in some solid cheerleading for yourself. Let's combat the programming with love. How about you decide what beauty is? How about you decide that beauty is an inside job and your goal is to radiate that beauty out to the world to see? We all know people who are physically attractive. However, when they consistently demonstrate unattractive behavior, their physical appearance literally changes and becomes less than. And in fact, often they end up looking rather ordinary. The exact same thing happens in reverse. The nice, average, normal person who has the biggest heart, great energy, and engaging to be around, they suddenly become oh so more attractive. And this to me is what being physically attractive really is. When you truly decide to come from love and not fear, when you come from kindness and empathy and compassion and connection, your face lights up and you will look the most beautiful you ever can. And that beauty is divine. So we change how we measure beauty and physical appearance to increase our self-acceptance and self-love. Now, I want to talk about the voice in the head, the one that tells you that you aren't good enough, rich enough, smart enough, funny enough, attractive enough, etc. This voice is undermining your self-worth every single time. First, you must own that you have this voice and start to become aware of it. Start to be aware of how you speak to yourself. Next, it's time to have a louder voice that says you are the opposite of this negative, debilitating self-talk. Affirmations are great for this, and the more you commit to an affirmation, the faster and greater the change will be. Start with a simple one such as, I am a kind, giving, and worthy person. I love myself unconditionally. You can do this anywhere, anytime, even in silence if need be. However, to make it more powerful, speak the words out loud. And even more powerful is to speak this into the mirror. Then in time, work up to the following statement as soon as you get out of bed and look into the mirror. Smile and go eye to eye and say, Good morning, Jane. Well, obviously, insert your own name. Good morning, Jane. I love you. I truly love you. All right, who's squirming now? The goal is to get you, though, to a point where you actually mean it. You're looking into your own soul, and that is so powerful. We also have the tall poppy syndrome, particularly here in Australia, where if someone's doing too well, then others will want to pull you down or put you down in an attempt to reduce your power to a level that they are more comfortable with. Jealousy, envy is at play here. However, let's get back to self-love. You've got to understand that self-love is not about ego. It's not about selfishness or arrogance or I'm all that. And yet, when you are confident and self-assured, others may label you as pompous or arrogant or better than. This is their insecurity coming out and nothing to do with you. We are talking here about great appreciation for you and a strong knowing that you are worthy. Playing it small to make others feel comfortable, it's something that we've also been programmed to do, and yet this method really doesn't serve anyone. Being an example, a role model, and radiating your light in confidence and self-love, it'll assist more people to raise up. So do your best to see where the negative ones are coming from. Build resilience to any perceived attacks, and with a genuine smile, send them love. Reframing the past is crucial to growth in self-love. So let's tackle that gorgeous inner child who's experienced so much without the opportunity to speak her or his truth, or possibly to be guided with an adult wisdom during times of fear. I like to think of the inner child as our younger selves, the one who is all sorts of ages, the one who has memories of unresolved pain, embarrassment, shame, ridicule, suppression, hurt, etc. For me, the two dominant inner children are me at the age of 7, who suddenly realized the world wasn't as kind as I felt it should be. Age 7, of course, is also around the time the child starts to leave the mother's aura. My 15-year-old inner child, she's the defiant one, the one who I've nicknamed the 6th member of the Spice Girls, Defiant Spice. She's quite ferocious and full of fire energy, while simultaneously capitulating to her peer group pressure. Both ages have many memories I've worked on healing to grow in self-love. So these two inner children, if I allow them to run the show, can be quite disruptive in connection to others. The 7-year-old me is needy, confused, and has her feelings hurt quite easily. However, she's also kind and compassionate, loving and dynamically creative. While the 15-year-old is very self-sabotaging, harsh, radically fights for justice, and crying out for acceptance and love. But she's also bold and courageous, dynamic, and full of action. I've often seen the inner child in others, particularly in my dating practice, where I could see a lot of people attend an event and they've got the 15 or 16-year-old that's out and running the show. That's the insecure child that's coming out and saying, I'm not good enough, rich enough, funny enough, smart enough, fill in the blank. I'm going to act up now and I'm going to go into grandstanding and attention seeking, well, self-sabotaging behavior to try and get approval from people, to feel liked and accepted. So what I like to encourage people to do is talk to this gorgeous child. Talk to the 15-year-old and say, you know what? I know that at the moment you're feeling a little bit threatened, and that's okay. I love you. I've got your back. I'm in charge now. I, the 58-year-old who's wiser and stronger, has got this covered, and I love you. In private, take time to build your connection to the younger you. Talk to him or her. Give them all the love they were deeply worthy of receiving and didn't feel like they did receive. I want you to tell them how truly amazing they are, how perfect and unique, that they are beautiful exactly as they are meant to be. And I want you to give them all the hugs and all the love that in that moment of a painful memory, they needed and didn't receive. And as you build this new relationship with them, from this moment forward, you now have the little you and the big you together. You're walking the world together where we've got each other's backs. We've got each other's great qualities to call on and utilize, and we'll never be alone again. And you'll never be without that love that you desire because we give love to ourselves. Forgiveness is the gift we give ourselves. Start by going back and looking at the parts of ourselves in the times of our life that we weren't very proud of. Forgiveness does not mean that what you did was okay if it's to someone else or even to yourself. Forgiveness is, I no longer choose to be hurt or damaged by this. I no longer choose to be held back by this. I'm ready to release and surrender and move on and go for something better. It's the gift that you give to yourself because when you forgive you, you create peace. Let's get your love bucket overflowing now. I recommend a gratitude journal. Yes, this sounds like such a common thing to do. However, many people forget the power of gratitude, and particularly during these turbulent times. I encourage people to do this just before falling asleep. Write down 5 to 10 things that you are grateful for that day. It can be the big things or the little things. It doesn't matter. The idea here is to gather further evidence of a divine life that you lead. You are now actively looking at your reality every day through eyes of looking for proof that it's an amazing, wonderful, giving, abundant world that we have so much to be grateful for. And it's going to be radically transforming the quality of your reality. So no more checking your phone before sleep and no more grabbing a book to read. The last thing you do before you close your eyes is write your list, as it places you in such a beautiful vibration to actually have a gorgeous, healing, restful night's sleep. Self-nurturing is also an important step to add to your self-love. I could talk all day on this topic, and I know most of you know all this stuff. However, being reminded is often helpful since we can forget to do what we know works for us, and it helps to raise our vibration. So here's a quick list of a few things you can do to nurture you and honor you. Have a soothing bath instead of a fast shower. Burn that really expensive candle you were gifted. Book a massage. Run an emotional freedom technique, or EFT for short. It's a tapping session. You can check it out on YouTube if you haven't tried this before. Go for a slow meditative walk, not a power fitness walk. Take yourself to your favorite restaurant. And here's a test. Can you do it by yourself? That's a test of self-love. Buy that gorgeous body cream that you've always wanted just for you. Spoil you, honor you. Booking to release and heal any blockages with your favorite healer or kinesiologist, counselor, or therapist. Honor you in every way that you can think of because you are deeply worthy. And I leave you with this. Here is the truth. You are a kind, sensitive, compassionate, giving, loyal, trustworthy, and creative divine being. You are very much worthy, lovable, and loved. And together, we are co-creating the love frequency for all to experience. With love and gratitude to you.
You have been listening to Own Your Own Stuff with host Jane Donovan. To connect with Jane, head to janedonovan.com.au.